All right, today we're not going to learn anything new. We're going to go over what we did yesterday and expand on that lesson. So let's go through the steps we learned. When you have equations, what's the first thing you have to check and make sure you get rid of? Parentheses. If there's parentheses, you have to do distributive property. The next thing you have to do is combine like terms on both sides of the equal sign. And then this was our new step right here from yesterday, which was to move all the variables to one side by adding or subtracting. Does it matter which side you pull them to? It doesn't. Okay, I like to pull them to the left because when we get to inequalities, we want them on the left. But it does not matter which way you pull them. Then you're going to add or subtract to move the constant, and then multiply or divide to move the coefficient. Remember, there are 3 possible solutions. I should be on the board. If you get an answer like this, it means that is where the 2 lines intersect, at x equals 5. If you get an answer like this, what is my answer? Does 0 equal 3? So if you get an answer where a number equals something totally that's not equal, what is the answer? No solution. This means there are parallel lines. And how do I know that? Because the slopes and the y-intercepts are the same. So remember, you don't have to write this down. In 7th grade, you learned y equals mx plus b, where the m is the slope and the b is the y-intercept. If the slope is the same, which is the number that has the variable, if the slope is the same, they are parallel lines. So again, let me show y'all. If I graph 2x plus 3, and then I also graph 2x minus 7, are the slopes the same? Look at the slopes. Are they the same? Yes. Are the y-intercepts different? Yes. Okay, so they're going to be parallel lines because the slopes are the same and the y-intercepts are different. So this one intercepted the y-axis at 2. Isn't that what I put? 3. 3. And this one intersected at -7. But the slopes were the same. They're parallel. There will be no solution. When you solve, you'll get something like 5 equals 7 or 0 equals 3. If they don't equal, what is your answer? No solution. If you get an answer like this, 5 equals 5 or 0 equals 0, and they are equal, what is your answer? All real numbers are infinite solutions. This is where the slope and the y-intercepts are the same. Both are the same. The slope's the same, the y-intercept's the same. They are the exact same line. For example, if I have 5x plus 2 and I have 5x plus 2 again, those are the exact same lines. Yes? And when I hit graph, watch the blue one graph first and then the red one. Here's blue. There's red. They're literally on top of each other. They intersect at every single point. They're intersecting here, 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 all the way across the line. That means any place on the line is a solution because they intersect everywhere. Are y'all with me? Okay, let's get started because we're going to have those today. All right, are there parentheses? Are there like terms on the left? No. Are there like terms on the right? So I am now going to move this 4x to the left. How do I zero out a 4x? Minus 4x. And whatever I do to the right, I got to do to the left. Now, what kind of value does this 8 have? So if you want change if it helps you see it. So I have 7 plus -8 plus -4 is -12x equals, what value does the 17 have? -17. All right, how do I get rid of the constant? -17. minus 7. Bring down the negative 12x equals, and negative 17 minus 7 is negative 24. How do I get rid of the coefficient? Divide both sides by negative 12. And negative 24 divided by negative 12 is positive 2. Yes? Okay, look at the next one. What do you see right away? The slope is the same. The what? The y-intercept is the same. They are the exact same line. If I graph these, are they parallel lines or are they the same line? So what is my answer going to be? All real numbers, but let's go solve it. Let's pretend we didn't know, okay? All right, I'm going to subtract 7w to pull it over here. That's going to cancel out. 7w minus 7w is 0. Bring down my plus 1 equals, bring down my 1. Does 1 equal 1? So my answer is all real numbers. But I knew that from the beginning because I saw that the slope and the y-intercept was the exact same. All right, let's go to the next one. What does this problem have? It has parentheses, so it's the first thing I have to deal with. This I'm just going to write 9x minus 5 down, and I am going to distribute the 1/4 to the 16 and the 1/4 to the 60. Now, if you don't like 1/4, change it to 25 cents. But multiplying by a fourth is the same thing as dividing by 4. So what's a fourth of 16? 4x. Plus, what's a fourth of 60? 15. 15 plus 15 plus 15 plus 15. All right, now I can go move the variables to the left. How am I going to move this 4x? 9x minus 4x is 5x. Minus 5 equals 15. How do I move a minus 5? Plus 5, bless you. So 5x equals 20. How do I get rid of the coefficient? Divide by 5. So x equals 4. Okay, I'd like for you guys to try this one on your own. Okay, you should have distributed the 1/5. You get 1x plus 4 on the right. I'm going to move the 1x to the left by subtraction. I'm left with 3x minus 5 equals 4. And then I'm going to add 5 to both sides. I'm left with 3x equals 9. And then when I divide by 3, I get x equals 3. Do you see where you messed up?
Yes, but I don't know how.
Look at my steps and compare them.
It's like 1/5.
1/5 times 5 is 1. When you multiply by a fifth, it's the same thing as dividing by 5. When I multiply by a half, it's the same thing as dividing by 2. When I multiply by a third, it's the same as what? dividing by 3. If the numerator's 1, then when you multiply, it's the same thing as dividing by the denominator. Okay, look at this one. What's the first thing we have to do? All right, so I have 9x plus 12 on the left. 9 times x is 9x, and 9 times 3 is? All right, stop and look at it. What do you see is the same? The slopes are the same. Are the y-intercepts the same? So they're not the same line. They are what kind of lines? They're parallel. So what will my answer be? No solution. But let's go pretend we don't know it and let's solve it. I would move this 9x to the left by subtraction. So I have 0 plus 12 equals 27. So anytime you get the variable and it zeroes out, it's either going to be no solution or all real numbers, okay? Does 12 equal 27? No. So the answer is no solution. And the reason is they are parallel lines. Okay, try this next one on your own. What did y'all notice once you did distributive property? They're the exact same line. So the slope was the same and the y-intercept was the same. So what would the answer end up being? All real numbers. So let's pretend we don't know and let's solve. I would minus 6a. I would end up with 0 plus 6 equals 6. Does 6 equal 6? So the answer is all real numbers. All right, let's go practice some word problems because you do have word problems on your assignment today. Pay attention. Here we go. Suppose your club is selling candles to raise money. It costs $100 to rent a booth to sell the candles. If the candles cost your club $1 each and they're sold for $5 each, how many candles must be sold to equal your expenses? So we want the cost to equal what? The expenses. All right, so let's put the cost. What cost over here? Okay, what else cost? $1 per candle. How would I write that? So plus 1x. That's my cost, yes? I didn't mean to put expenses. The cost is expenses. We want it to be my profit, yeah. We want our profit to equal. So like this is how you break even. Cost and expenses are the exact same thing. All right, so how... it's not even profit. Whatever. Y'all get what I'm saying. Over here, what am I going to sell them for? 5 each. 5x. Basically, we're asking, how am I going to break even? How many candles do I need to sell to break even? Okay? All right. I need to do what? Get the variables to one side. Now, question, what's going to be easier? Pulling it to the left and crowding it with this 100, or pulling it to the right because there's only one x over here? Pulling it to the right. Just being honest, it's easier. So, can I pull this positive 1x to the right? By subtracting. So I have 100 equals 4x. I want the x by itself, so how do I get rid of the 4? Divide, and I get x equals 25. What's the answer? 25 what?
25 candles.
25 candles need to be sold in order for me to break even. All right, go to the back. We've been practicing these, so let's see if we remember. What is the length and width of the rectangle if its perimeter is 22 plus 2w? Well, what do we know about perimeter? How do you find it? Add all the sides. How many sides are there? All right, if this is 3w minus 4, what is this? All right, if this is w, what is this? All right, so all of these add up to equal the perimeter. And it tells you this is the perimeter, yes? Can I make an equation? All right, here we go. W plus w, can I go ahead and write that as 2w? Okay, so 2w plus 3w minus 4 plus 3w minus 4 has to equal the perimeter. What's the perimeter? 22 plus 2w. Can I solve for w now? All right, here we go. Combine like terms. So 2w plus 3w plus 3w is what? 8w. Plus negative 4 plus negative 4 is negative 8 equals 22 plus 2w. What is my next step? Get the variables to one side. I'm going to pull it to the left. So how do I get rid of a plus 2w? Minus 2w. 8w minus 2w is 6w plus negative 8 equals 22, and that's zeroed out. How am I going to get rid of the constant of negative 8? Plus 8. So I have 6w equals 30. How do I get rid of the coefficient? Divide by 6. And what is w? Is that my answer?
No.
What did it ask for? It didn't ask for the perimeter. What is the... All right, well, the length is 3 times w minus 4. Well, we know that w is 5. So 3 times 5 is 15, and 15 minus 4 is... So the length, wherever you want to put it, is 11. Did it give us something to label? Did it say inches or anything? So I'm just going to put units, because units means it can be anything. Because 3 times w minus 4. So what is w? So 3 times 5 is 15, and 15 minus 4 is 11. All right. The width is simply w. What is w? 5 units. Questions? How do y'all feel about that? Easy? All right, look at the next one. Find the perimeter of the square. They didn't give you the perimeter. But what do we know about squares? All sides are the... So this side equals this side. Can I make an equation out of that? All right, so 5x minus 8 equals 3x. Why was I able to do that? Because squares have sides that are all the... So this does equal this. I couldn't do that up here because this does not equal that. Make sense? All right, I'm going to go solve for x. Now, question. Would it be easiest to pull the 3x to the left and then have to move this 8 to the right? Or would it be easiest to move the 5x to the right? But does it matter which way you do it? No, I'm going to move the 5x to the right because it's easier because there's nothing else over here. It will help me skip a step. How would I move a positive 5x to the right? Minus 5x. I'm going to bring down my negative 8 equals, and 3 minus 5x is negative 2x. How am I going to get rid of the coefficient of negative 2? Divide by negative 2. And what is negative 8 divided by negative 2? 4. So 4 equals x. Is that the answer?
No.
What did it ask for? It didn't ask for the sides. What did it ask for? But to find the perimeter, I need at least one side, right? Because all sides are the... Which one of these is easier? This one. So 3 times x, 3 times, well, x is 4, so what's 3 times 4? So the sides are all 12. So 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12 are just 12 times 4, which is 48. Did they give us any units? So I'm going to put 48 units. Okay, look at the next one. What does it want us to find? Can I find x because all sides are the same? So can I set these equal to each other? Yes, so I have 6x plus 8 equals 10x. Which way do y'all think I should pull? The 6x to the right or the 10x to the left? I'm going to go to the right because there's nothing else over here that I would have to get rid of. So minus 6x. So I have 8 equals 4x. I'm going to divide by 4. And what is x? 2. Is that my answer? What did it ask for? Okay, but to find perimeter, I need the side length, right? So here's a side length, 10 times x. Well, x is 2. So what's 10 times 2? So each side is 20 units long. So what would the perimeter be? 20 plus 20 plus 20 plus 20? 80 units, because they didn't give me any units. Are we okay? All right, on the last part, these are called these are called vertical angles. They're across from each other. That means they have the same measure. Do y'all see how they're right across from each other? So they're equal. So it says find the value of, so 4x minus 2 is equal to 5x minus 3. Are we okay? And then you solve. So minus 5x. 4x minus 5x is negative 1x minus 2 equals negative 3. Am I going too fast? How do I get rid of a minus 2? So I have negative 1x equals negative 1. Yes? So x just equals 1. Because you could divide by negative 1. Negative 1 divided by negative 1 is 1. All right, how would you set this one up? This equals, all right, we're not going to solve it. Just set it up in case you need to refer to it. And then you would solve for x because they are equal. All right, I'm going to pass out your assignment while you set that up. Okay, put your name. Let's look at the directions. Quiet, please. On 1 through 15, should anybody miss anything? Do you have to show your work? Yes, but you should not miss it because you're going to do what? Check it in your calculator. What? I haven't even gotten there. Okay, flip to the back. Flip to the back. What does 16 through 18 ask you to find? So there's 3 steps. First, you're going to have to solve for x. Then you're going to have to plug it back in for the side so that you can find the perimeter, just like we did on our notes. Yes? Okay, number 19 and 20, it says there's 2 answers. Find the length and the width of the rectangle described. Now, if I was you, I would draw a picture. So, for example, I would draw a rectangle. It says the length is, so go to length. You're going to write a thing for length. 5 more than the width. How would I write that? Plus what? Let's call it W since it's width because it'll make sense to us. So how would I write the width? W. Then it says the perimeter. So write that down. The perimeter is 9 times the width. How would I write that? 9W. Now you can set up your equation by saying this plus this plus this plus this has to equal the perimeter. Yes? Okay, I want you to do the exact same thing on number 20, but be careful with these words. When we see those words, what do? Switch their spots. Okay, and then do the bottom 2. And yes, I already know. Get busy.